And did we do? Oh, yep. We are live and we're on the internet. Oh my God, I'm just pumped up right now. I'm like, my energy level is way up. I always get like a little excited when we host a live webinar, but I'm like even more excited today because we are going to be going over some like advanced vehicle acquisition strategies. And a fun fact about Jason that you didn't ask for. I originally went to college to be a teacher. Clearly that didn't go the way I thought it would because I spent the majority of my professional career in the car biz. But that is one of the great things about having the opportunity to host these webinars is I get to put on my teacher's hat. Except teachers don't wear hats, so I probably would have been a terrible teacher anyway. But being able to bring you this information along with our expert subject matter experts, that makes sense. It's always nice. It's always fun. So let me stop babbling. Let me get back on track here and just say hi. I'm Jason Stum. I'm the director of strategy here at Dealer Inspire, and I'm glad you're here today on our webinar. Now, I know we have a lot of clients and partners with us today, as always, but I'm also seeing some of you who I'm guessing might be meeting us for just the first or second time. So we are Dealer Inspire. And I'm just one of 600 passionate employees on a mission to future-proof dealerships with one connected platform that sells and services more vehicles more efficiently. And today we are here to focus on how you can capture cars across every channel with a connected vehicle acquisition strategy. Just one little piece of housekeeping before we continue. If you have any questions along the way, just feel free to ask them right over here in the chat. And we'll do our best to get the A's to your Q's as we go. And like most of our journeys here together, this isn't one that I can take you on alone. So I'm reaching back into that deep well of subject matter experts here at Dealer Inspire. And I'm calling up three amazing, talented, and super smart individuals. They are all making their Dealer Inspire webinar debut. Let's bring them on camera here so we can all say hi. First up, we have Eric Dumlau, Director of Client Services. We also have Digital Advertising Supervisor Steve Wiseman. And last but certainly not least, we have Andrew Rodaway, Executive Producer for Fuel in Market Video. Gentlemen, welcome to the show today. I'm so glad you guys are here.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm pumped. I'm just like pumped through the roof right now. I hope you guys are too.
Yeah, it's definitely rubbing off on me now. And the more I hang out with you, the more excited I get. I'm worried that we're gonna force each other to go through the roof at some point, though.
And I think another way to say that is you'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge, right? Is that fair?
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So we're totally off track already, but that's what I like about doing these things. All right. So do this for me. Steve, Andrew, wave goodbye for now. It's not forever, just for now. Turn those cameras off. Eric, hang out here with me because I want to get to you first. So let's just get this thing going on the road here. So this is really interesting, right? The automakers, they've been announcing their Q1 earnings recently. And if you just look at the headlines, this like kind of all seems like positive stuff, soaring profits despite pandemics and chip shortages, which is kind of crazy. And there's a lot of reason for that, which we really don't need to get too deep into. Part of it's pent-up demand. Part of it is that due to higher overall prices because of fewer incentives, it's just basic supply and demand economics there, right, Eric?
Yeah, it shouldn't come as much of a surprise, to bring this to the dealership level. And it's common conversation I've had, but just spoke with a dealer group this month who said they're going to surpass their goal for this month, but surpassing their goal, when they do that, they won't have enough inventory as it stands now to hit their goal the following month. So everything you're saying from a high level in these articles is definitely making its way down to the dealership level now.
Yeah, and really, make no mistakes, as the industry is shifting, or to quote Bob Dylan, the times they are a changing. And as I was doing some research for this webinar, like this quote from an article over on ABC News, like really kind of stuck out to me. It was about the chip shortage. And, if you're only listening right now, if you're not watching the screen and you can't read the quote that's up here, let me read it to you like a good teacher would. Whatever the chip shortage, or whenever the chip shortage ends, GM, Ford, and others, they will change business models away from having huge stocks, which is really interesting. So even if you're not affected by the current inventory situation, this is important for a couple of reasons. Number one, all signs point to lower inventory level being like the new normal. Automakers have discovered in the short term that they can be profitable selling fewer cars at a higher price point. So why not keep carrying that momentum forward? And two, I don't know any dealer that would say no to more customers looking to sell or trade in their car right now. So in other words, what we're talking about here today isn't like a stopgap or a bridge, just across the next couple of months to get back to the way things were. This is the path forward that you'll want to follow and make a part of your ongoing marketing strategy. So really, we have an opportunity here from both a short-term and a long-term standpoint. The strategy and tactics we'll be going over here today will give you the foundation and the head start you need to like level up your vehicle acquisition game. And here's how we're going to do it. First up, Eric and I, we are going to chat about how you can prepare your home base, aka your website, and then show you all how to have better trading conversations. Then Steve and Andrew will jump in here to show you how you can broadcast your vehicle acquisition message across all your marketing channels everywhere. And then we'll wrap it up by going over some critical follow-up techniques to drive engagement post lead. Does that sound good to you, Eric? You ready?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. All right, so your website, this is your foundation, and this is where it all begins. What can our dealer friends here with us today do to prioritize vehicle acquisition messaging on their website right now?
Cool. Jason, I know this is our 301. This is our advanced session, but can we start with just a couple simple things first?
Yeah.
Something simple as prioritizing that trade and sell messaging right on your homepage can do wonders for generating these types of leads. You know, if you don't already have this in your nav, in your main menu, that's the first thing I want you to do. So get that added, make it visible so it's on every page of the website. Check your homepage CTAs, and don't forget to check mobile. You know, is there a value trade CTA visible above or just below the fold on all devices where it can't be missed? That's the first thing to do. You know, I saw a LinkedIn post from one of our good dealer partners, Ryan Everson over at Garber, who said they saw a lift in results just by doing something as simple as this. So shout out to them for always being ahead of the game. But this can be done pretty quickly, pretty easily. There's no excuses for not having this done and covering the bases.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know, just taking care of those like first three things is a great first step. But let's keep building on this, Eric. What else you got?
So beyond the homepage, then, you know, you have your landing page for trade-ins and vehicle acquisition. So there's an opportunity to enhance that landing page just to show your customers how the process works and how you'll make the experience easy. So if you're with us at DI, we have a landing page template. We'd be happy to get it up for you. But whether you're using, you know, our page or your own, there's definitely some best practices that you'll want to follow.
Yeah, and when you say best practices, you're talking like from additional content standpoint beyond just like embedding your widget on a page, right?
Right. So you have the buttons to get them there from your homepage, get them to the page. Now you want to guide them down the path and build trust along the way. So, you know, a lot of times I'll just see like that embedded trade tool, which is great for getting an estimate out. But why should the customer take the next step and do business with you? So that's what the page should explain why. There's a lot of national competition for trade-ins. So first off, leverage your local messaging. Someone from our friendly local team will inspect your car at our place or yours to provide that great neighborhood experience. Talk about, you know, how fast and easy the process is. As a customer, I'm all about experience. You know, for me personally, if there was a dealership that was willing to just come look at my car in the driveway, you know, don't pull me off Zoom, don't even talk to me, come get an estimate, send it to me versus email. That would be my ideal experience. And I'd be giving my business to them.
And so, yeah, that's funny. You made me laugh with that example. Don't even talk to me. Look at my car. Give me some money. See you later. So it sounds like once you start customizing these pages, right, you're actually positioning yourself to start creating some supporting SEO content around these like trade in and sell my car type queries, right?
Yeah. So once you have that set up, you can start creating content lanes around those pages with supporting content to help establish, you know, for search engines and for local shoppers, why your dealership is the answer for trade-in or sell my car type questions, such as like, should I fix my car before trading it in? Should I sell my car on Craigslist or to a dealership? You know, that's questions that people are asking. So if you've got the right content in place, you can be the local answer for those questions.
Yeah, and that's really important to like to pause on and understand for a second. You know, if you just have a trade-in page that just has a widget and people are searching for, should I sell my car on Craigslist or to a dealership, you're never going to be a match for that because you don't mention those things on the page. So just look at all these different queries that you have and how can you create supporting content to answer those questions so you can be available there in search. And that really is part of that foundation you need to have in place. And once you kind of have all that working, what you've talked about so far, Eric, then dealers can start to push that vehicle acquisition narrative across their website in other ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can even go down to the VDP here, a bunch of small wins. Something as simple as inserting a trade-in offer image into your VDP picture sequence can be a really effective way of getting that message in front of shoppers when they're very heavily engaged on a VDP looking at a vehicle. And that will show on your website and wherever, other shopping platforms that you're syndicating your inventory and all your images to. So again, easy win, but really far reach.
Yeah, and Eric, that's a pretty good tip because I don't see that a whole lot in the websites I looked at. But I mean, not for nothing, I would maybe kind of file that under a basic tip here. And this is our 301 advanced class, so can we step it up a notch?
Yeah, you're pressuring me here, but okay. How about this one? So take advantage of the capabilities of DI with Personalizer to serve people who visited your trading or selling landing pages. So we can set up a Personalizer so that if someone's been to your trading page and then they find themselves back on a VRP, we can serve up this VRP banner to say, you've got money in the driveway, show them that trade-in message, and then open that up into conversations and get them through the bot flow there to get an instant valuation on their trade right there on the page.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what. Sorry, I didn't mean to add any additional pressure to the webinar today, Eric. Personalizer has some more advanced tricks up its sleeve too. I mean, it can do more than banners and stuff, right?
Yeah. So another one, we've talked about this before, but geofencing your competitors to serve cross shoppers with a conquest message. So usually that's for the sale of a car. Well, now you can just do the same thing for vehicle acquisition. So the idea here, a shopper is at a dealer down the road. They got an offer for their trade-in. They're cross shopping on your website from their competitor's showroom. When they land on your website, you're showing them a highly relevant and urgent message saying you'll give them $1,000 more for their car. Or like I said before, you're talking about how you'll provide a better experience.
Yeah, and that's the key to this here is like a message like this where you're like, oh gosh, $1,000 more, or whatever that amount is. That's only being shown to people cross-shopping you from that dealership. So it's not like you're giving $1,000 extra to everybody. It's really targeted to people at your competitors with this huge. And that is a pretty powerful message to greet those cross-shoppers with. It's super creative too. On the website side of things, Eric, in that creativity aspect, what else do you got?
All right, so this one's pretty creative. We're using a few different pieces of the platform in a way that it wasn't originally intended or built for, but it's fun to do. So work with me here. The DI wallet has some tech we built out a couple years ago. It allows visitors to add service coupons to their Apple Wallet. And then once a customer adds a coupon to their wallet, you can actually trigger push notifications to a user's iPhone when they drive through, any number of geofences that you're able to define. So even though DI Wallet is really for digital fixed ops service coupons, we can kind of hack it and use it here as well. So in DI Wallet, you could create a trade-in bonus coupon for whatever amount you want, and then create a VRP banner or a homepage personalizer that only displays to users that are using an iPhone. And then when they tap on that banner or that message, that coupon automatically gets added to their Apple Wallet. And then when people who downloaded your coupon drive through those certain geofences, they'll get that notification, that push notification on their phone, reminding them why they have that coupon to begin with.
And I absolutely love that because we've seen, Eric, you see this, you talk to our clients all the time. We've seen people using the Dealer Inspire platform in new and inventive ways. Like you said, that weren't necessarily built to do this thing. And here's just a way to use Personalizer, fixed ops coupon in the DI wallet to mash it all up together and have it serve a vehicle acquisition message is pretty awesome. Let's keep it rolling. What else do you got, my man?
So this one isn't trade-in related specific, but still addresses the inventory challenge. So, there might be some VRP, SRP results out there that just return a handful of vehicles or no vehicles due to the current inventory situation. The last thing you want to do is bring shoppers to a dead end there and then have them bounce off the website. So you can make these VRPs more valuable and keep your shopper engaged by letting them know that, you'll help them locate or personally order the vehicle that they're looking for. And similar to a lot of what we're talking about today, we have some free creative available that we can hook you up with.
Yep. And absolutely, as we go, as you hear us call out, hey, there's like some free creative. If you're a Dealer Inspire client, just like raise your hand over in the chat and someone will DM you to get your information so we can hook you up with what you're looking for. Looks like we got one last thing here in this section. What are we talking about here, Eric?
Yeah, so this one's brand new with our latest update to Conversations, which we're rolling out to our beta users right now. You'll be able to greet visitors with embedded images or videos prior to them engaging in a chat. So as they open up the chat right there, you can just hit them with another image or video, get that critical trade-in message right in front of them when they're using your website.
Yeah, and this is really awesome. I mean, just like with the example we have up here on the screen, somebody's going to start a chat because they have a question and they're just getting this impression of this, hey, we want your car today. If that's where their mindset is, you're solidifying that message with them as we go. And speaking of conversations, that really is the perfect segue here for our next topic, which is how to have more effective trade-in conversations. So let's talk about like the actual trade-in experience that takes place on your website. You know, most website trade-in experiences require shoppers to input a lot of information, like a lot of information. And after the shopper goes through those like 17 steps, assuming they make it all the way to the end, you know, they're taken to a lead form where they have to make that in the moment decisions like, do I really want to go through with this or not? And some of them do and some of them don't. And look, I used this metaphor in a webinar we did a few months ago, and I just like this GIF so much, I'm going to use it again. So stick with me here for a second. So forums are like the worst way to fish. It'd be like you're fishing on a lake. You bait up your hook, which is your marketing. You cast it out into the lake, which is the internet. And oh my gosh, you hook yourself a fish, which is a customer, and you reel it in and you did it and it worked. But instead of like hanging on to the fish, you throw it back into Lake Internet. And then you yell to your buddy down the shore, who's like your BDC rep or your salesperson, like, hey, I just caught this awesome fish. You should go try to catch it too. I mean, it makes no sense. Why are we trying to catch the same fish twice? That doesn't make any sense, does it, Eric?
It definitely does not. You know, you spend all this time, all this effort, all this money into making your marketing work, you know, going over reports, optimizing campaigns, and then you have to invest even more time and effort in the follow-up. So that, you're right, just isn't very efficient. What we found is that chat-based trade-in experiences are not just faster and more familiar to users, but they also convert way better than form-based experiences. So in conversations, you know, you can have a value your trade CTA link up to that flow, which we talked about earlier, which gives an estimate instantly. And you'll see here 47% more likely to convert than a standard form. And, you know, the best part is when you're getting those estimates and they go through the flow there, you can keep the fish on the hook after they, you know, go through and we get the shopper's info. Annabot can actually hand that chat off to your team. And now you're having a real two-way conversation that goes from lead to appointment without missing a beat.
Yeah, and look, to Eric's point there is you can only keep talking to the fish if you're actually the one who's handling those conversations at your dealership. And this is really my favorite chart of all time because it literally shows the effect of the pandemic on consumer behavior. So shortly after the pandemic hit and most states enacted some kind of lockdown, right, we saw usage of conversations increase by 70%. And we're still seeing that elevated usage trend today. And look, we got a chat that I pulled out here that just happened like 2 days ago. They're not using chat to ask mundane questions like, hey, where are you located? Or are you open on Sunday? As you can see here with this chat message on the screen, the shoppers are asking real questions that directly impact their buying and selling decisions, right? So it's so much more important than that. And Eric, again, you talk to our clients all the time. You know, how many of them are actually answering their own chats during business hours?
Yeah, it's only about 20%. So I see this as a huge opportunity. You know, one of the common questions we hear a lot is like, how do I get more leads? Or how do I give my team more opportunities without spending more money? And as you can see from what you talked about in the previous slide, the absolute easiest point of entry to get more leads out of your website without spending an extra dime is to take your chat back and be in control of it. Seriously, it's just become so valuable of a communications tool that you can't afford not to handle it yourself.
Yeah, especially with that urgency that, you know, we're in with the current inventory situation. And make no mistake, everybody, we're not saying managed chat is bad there because managed chat does play like this big role in your overall messaging and communication strategy for like when you're not open or your team's so busy you can't answer that chat. But they just can't provide the same type of answers that you can at the dealership in real time.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think of it as like your 24/7 admin, always there, always ready to greet guests with a smile, make them feel welcome, take a message when your team isn't available, and they've got your back. So really what it comes down to is the process you put in place at the dealership and how you staff your digital showroom. But by having representatives from your variable and fixed ops teams manning the chat, just like they'd answer the phone, just like they'd reply to emails. You can not only answer questions and set leads in the moment, you can actually start to do some pretty cool stuff with trade-ins too.
Well, I like cool stuff, Eric. What are you talking about, man?
So, all right, check this out. A chat comes in. It's a customer who needs to schedule a service appointment. So as you're taking their information to get them scheduled, you could casually ask about having the vehicle appraised while it's in the shop. So something like, hey, while your vehicle is in for service, would you be open to find out how much it's worth? And it instantly creates that warm handoff from your sales team when the customer comes in. They're not surprised by it. They're expecting it.
Yeah, and that is huge. What else can we do with chat here once we're handling it ourselves?
Yeah, so this one's for the power users. But since this is the advanced, this is the 301, I'll share it here. So Jason, you sold 10, 11 cars during your 2-year car sales career. Is that right? That's probably rounding up too. And of those 11, did you ever sell someone a car who originally came in for service, but after realizing how much it would cost to fix, they just decided to buy a new car instead? So it happens. Relatively common occurrence, right?
Yes.
So utilize the tech that you already have to upgrade your messaging game. Shoot a quick video where you explain the problem, tell them how much it'll cost to fix, and include the trade-in amount for the vehicle as it is. It's not too different of a process than the one that already exists in the service to sales handoff. You're just aligning now with your technology and your team to implement the digital version of that.
Yes, that is a great tip, especially for our power users. And for clarity, I sold 14 cars in my 2 years on the sales floor.
My bad.
40% of them came from the service drive. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about today. Eric, that is all amazing content. Thank you so much. Stick around because I'm going to chat you up in a bit about some other things. But now that we covered preparing your home base and showed you how to have those trade-in conversations, let's bring on Steve Wiseman to dig deep into how you can start to acquire cars like pretty much everywhere. Steve, thanks for being here, buddy. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me, Jason. Really happy to be here today.
I am stoked that you're here. So let's start with some more consumer-facing headlines, shall we? And the message of late couldn't be clearer. Pretty much everyone is saying now is the perfect time to sell a car. And my question to you is are we seeing that? It's one thing to see it in the headlines, but are we seeing the same kind of intention and behavior when we look digitally as well?
Absolutely. The headlines are clearly making an impact with consumers. And not only can we see this when we pull out our phones, but when we dig in a little bit, we see more evidence backing it up. Folks are looking to trade in and sell their car right now. And if you're a multitasker, take out your phone, put it back when I'm done, but take it out now, open up Google and start typing in "sell my car" and see what Google suggests comes next. You're going to see things like "sell my car to a dealer," "sell my car online," "sell my car for cash." Right? These are auto suggestions. This is what folks around you and frankly across the country are searching right now. But to go a little bit deeper, we can take a look at Google Trends, which is a pretty slick tool from Google, free by the way, that lets you explore search interest for any particular query by time and location. So what we're looking at here is the search phrase "sell my car." And we're going to go back to March 2020. General search interest, relatively low. Then as we get to last summer, we see there's a bit of a spike. And now, here in spring of 2021, the interest in this particular search is at its all-time high. Now, just something to call out here while we're looking. If you're not too familiar with Google Trends, what we're seeing here is not search volume, okay? What we're looking at is a representation of search interest over time on a relative scale of 0 to 100. So back to those school days, Jason, right? F or an A, 0 to 100.
Taking us way back a long time ago. So what we see here clearly on the chart, because there's a green line showing it, we are seeing an upward trend in searches for "sell my car" the past year.
Absolutely. And we wanted to go just a little bit deeper and thought, well, shoot, Carvana and Vroom are folks who play in this space as well and typically take more of an aggressive approach towards vehicle acquisition. So we wanted to take a look and see what they've been doing over the same time frame. And sure enough, that messaging has upped as well. We see trending increasing for branded queries like Carvana "sell my car" and Vroom "sell my car. So it really does follow the market and what we're seeing on the side of paid search.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We talked about this before. We actually have a whole webinar dedicated to how you can conquest these disruptors. But they are just as happy to acquire your car as they are to sell you a new one. It's literally half their business, and they've been getting aggressive in the market in this area, just like everyone else has. and we see that reflected in the search trends as those continue to increase. What else can we look at when we're looking at just the trends right now?
So aside from some of the more general trends, we can take a look at the Google Ads Keyword Planner or tools like SEMrush and get estimations for search volume for specific keywords or search queries. I thought it'd be interesting if we revisit search volume for the keywords you see here, which are from a previous trade-in webinar back in August 2020. What we're seeing here is an upward trend that's going to continue and make it clear that people are turning to search to ask questions related to selling or trading in their car. So what this means for your dealership is it is a perfect time to capitalize on this search intent by having a strong paid search and organic search presence.
Yeah, Steve, I feel like you're setting us up for something good here. So just lay it on us. What do you got?
Okay, so since we're in the advanced vehicle acquisition webinar, I'm going to start talking about location-based bid adjustments for your Google and Bing trade-in campaigns. Now, if you're running these campaigns with Dealer Inspire, there's a very good chance we're already doing this for you. In the case you're not and you're partnering with another agency, it's a great idea to bring it up and have a chat about it. The idea here is that current inventory challenges as they are, in the heavy competition around used inventory, we can't afford to be absent when someone in our own backyard wants to sell or trade in a car. So what we can do, utilizing location-based bid adjustments, is bid up or tell Google, we want to spend a little more money on that click when someone in our own backyard is searching to sell their car or trade their car in. Now, not all dealerships are the same, right? All markets, all brands have their own challenges. And conversely, if we want to expand far outside of our own backyards and really target folks who are a bit of a drive away for those vehicles, we can bid down on those locations. And what this is going to do is provide us with an expanded presence, but not at the detriment of your valuable ad dollars.
So that actually makes a lot of sense, Steve. So making connection with local shoppers who are most likely to do business with you, it's like this opportunity you can't miss out on this scenario. So let me ask you this though, Steve, aside from bidding up in your backyard or bidding down farther out of it, what else can dealers do with their paid search campaigns to step things up a notch?
So I know this was covered in last semester's course, trade-in strategies, but just in case some of our students didn't do their homework, I'm going to reiterate and share it again. If you still don't have a trade-in or sell my car campaign set up, you definitely want to incorporate those into your overall digital strategy. And here are a few best practices or tips that are going to increase the success of those efforts. First, use a headline that is designed to drive immediate action, a click, a tap. We want folks who are seeing these ads to engage. We want to make sure that when that ad is clicked, we're linking it to a relevant landing page where the user can actually get that trade-in value they're looking for. Next, we want to personalize the ad with a call extension that directs to your used car department if it's possible. Now, Google gives us the opportunity to set up any number that we'd like for each of the campaigns. So if we have a used car department number show up for your trade-in campaigns, a customer is looking specifically for trade-in information or to sell their car, and they decide to pick up the phone and call, that phone is going to ring directly to your best equipped staff member who's ready to take on that challenge in the immediacy. And then finally, we want to include site links to direct users to related shopping activities, such as searching for new or used inventory or your specials. This makes sure that all of our bases are covered in the event that the user decided to change interest after the click. Now, don't get me wrong. I know selling a car and taking one in on a trade is a good thing, but it doesn't increase your total available inventory. So if you want to add net new vehicles to your inventory, you need to get the message out that you're buying from local sellers as well. So again, you can create a separate campaign dedicated to covering keywords like sell my car for cash, sell my car near me, or sell my car today. And like the trade-in campaign, you'll want the phone number in there going directly to someone on your team who can properly handle that caller in the moment. And again, use site links to provide the information as best as possible.
Yeah, I know you said it twice already, Steve, but I want to say it a third time because that whole phone number thing is really important. If I was starting up Stum Motors, I would have a phone line that's dedicated just to trade-ins that I would run as call extensions in Google Ads. That way, when that phone rang, I knew 100% it was from somebody who just tapped that ad. I need to answer it and I need to take that call because that's how important that is. That's just me, though. But if you can dedicate that phone number to it, definitely want to do it. And speaking of site links, your team found something really interesting about a value your trade site link in like your other campaigns. So make model campaigns, right?
That's right. We have a tremendous amount of data at our hands, which is pretty great. And through some digging, we found out that adding a value your trade-in site link extension to your location or make model ads can lead to a 45% increase in conversion rate, which quite frankly, it's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. And using that site link to like link to your landing page that has your trade-in tool on it, that's pretty cool. But is there like an even cooler way to do it here, Steve?
There is an even cooler way, Jason. I'm going to share that today, but just today. So I need everyone to pay close attention here. Just like you and Eric were talking through how to have a trade-in conversation, and you're going to see this is a recurring theme in our vehicle acquisition strategy. You can actually code your value, your trade-in site link to land a user directly into the automated trade-in workflow in conversations.
Yeah, so let me pause here just to reiterate the importance of having these trade-in and sell my car campaigns up and running. Not only is it like the most efficient way to flip the switch and start making an impact, but it's like really super effective too, right, Steve?
It is. We're seeing an average cost per click of $4.65 for trade-in campaigns and $3.56 for make model inventory campaigns. So even though we're at a slightly higher click cost for those trade-in campaigns, they produce an extremely strong click-through rate as high as 41%. And there's a ton of demand here and a high propensity to generate a direct lead out of these efforts. Now, this also highlights the opportunity to advertise your trade-in efforts on Bing as well, not just Google. Don't forget about Bing. It's cost effective and it's the way to get in front of the most in-market shoppers possible.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Bing, Steve, because while we all know Google is the search giant in the room, there's plenty of opportunity with Microsoft ads on Bing right now as well. I mean, they recently rolled out their new ad unit called Automotive Inventory Ads, which I know a lot of our clients are finding extremely exciting. But as it relates to trade-ins, I mean, what are we seeing on Bing? Why should, as a car dealer, why should I be on Bing?
So Bing has a smaller market share than Google. Sure, we know this, everyone's familiar with this, but just to take a step back, there are 6.4 billion searches going on a month. That is a unique and sizable audience here that it's worth tapping into and generally more efficient. So for example, a trade-in ad on Bing has an average cost per click of $1.55, which makes your budget go a lot farther. And just like Google, we can use those same site link extensions, call and location extensions. So Jason, like you said, Google may be the king of search, but if you're not thinking about Bing right now, you're not living up to the mission of acquiring cars everywhere, right?
Yeah, well, that's true. Yep. Last I checked, Bing was located within the greater everywhere neighborhood. So solid point. Now, obviously, a lot of folks turn to search first, but that's not the only place where you can find local consumers looking to sell or trade their cars. So let's keep this rolling here and talk about something that's available to our clients exclusively through Dealer Inspire. What can you tell us about Cars.com display?
So this is really special. 41% of Cars.com visitors plan on trading in their current vehicle as part of their next vehicle purchase within 6 months. So I'm going to repeat that. 41%, almost half of the folks on Cars.com are looking to trade their current vehicle in towards their next one within 6 months. So what this means is that everybody who's going to see your compelling trade-in message, which you can run on the Cars.com platform using Cars.com display, is in market and actively searching for inventory on your lot. It's important to mention, Cars.com display is independent of your Cars.com package. It's different. But Jason, like you said, this is display inventory that is made exclusively available for Dealer Inspire customers and served exclusively to in-market vehicle shoppers.
Yeah, and I'm no math whiz, which is probably one of the reasons why I was never able to become a teacher. But if there are 25 million monthly visitors to Cars.com and 41% of them want to trade in their vehicle, that means there's about 10.25 million car shoppers on Cars.com this month who you can reach with this kind of messaging. That's going to do something really cool here. So talk to me through this slide. What are we talking about here?
So what we're doing here is you have the opportunity to link your ad to your trade-in or sell my car landing pages, okay? It's great. Or if you want to be really savvy, you could have these display ads open up in that automated trade-in chat on your website for an instant conversion experience. Either way, you're reaching a local and motivated in-market audience of shoppers with this message.
Yeah, and that's really powerful. Again, it's display inventory. You can link it wherever you need to and go for that conversion with those in-market shoppers. What else can our dealers do to get the word out about, how they're going the extra mile to get your vehicle?
So another great option to consider is utilizing Google My Business to push out that trade-in or sell your car messaging as a Google post. These posts are going to show up right on your dealership's business listing in the search results. And it's a great way to get the most important message out in front of your shoppers, often at a much more efficient play.
Sure. And talk to me too about the opportunity we have on social media. What can dealers do there to stay in front of customers, again, with this vehicle acquisition messaging?
So one of the most effective ways to do this is by running trade-in ads that use Facebook Messenger to start an automated trade-in chat. So Anabot, who powers trade-in flow of conversations, also hangs out in Facebook Messenger. So you can run ads on Facebook prompting folks to get an instant trade-in value for their vehicle. And when they tap that CTA, the user has the exact same trade-in experience with Anabot that takes place on your website, but this happens directly inside of Facebook Messenger.
Which I really just love. So like the user doesn't even have to leave the Facebook ecosystem, right? It just all happens seamlessly there in the app.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jason. This is a connected experience we're talking about, okay? And it's effective. So we see an average cost of about $14.96 per messaging lead and an average cost per click of $2.12. So this is definitely a cost-effective way to connect with customers on one of the platforms that they spend the most time on. And Jason, I know conquesting competitors has been brought up a couple of times today, so I wanted to share one more way to do that on social. So here we have access to Quorum data, which tracks mobile IDs to the physical dealership lot. Now, what this allows us to do is run a highly targeted social campaign to people who physically visited another dealer near you. You could target these shoppers with compelling trade-in messaging. Something like, show us your vehicle appraisal and we'll give you $750 more for your car, no questions asked. That's a pretty hard offer to beat right there, isn't it?
Wait a second, hold on. My mind is still wrapping itself around what you just said there. So with Quorum data, you're able to target people who have been physically at another dealership and serve those people only with like special ads. Did I say that right?
That's exactly right. And there's been a lot of changes with Facebook and with the iOS 14 update and lots of stuff that creates concern. And the good news is the Dealer Inspire team, we've been well ahead of this for a while. And we have a solution that not only is going to put you ahead of the game, but it's cost effective too. So make sure that when you have an opportunity, reach out in the chat or to your DI rep or to me. You can reach out to me directly and I can walk you through the ways that some of our most successful dealers are utilizing this technology.
That is killer, dude. Thank you. I appreciate you bringing all this knowledge to the table today. We got to go. We've got a lot to cover. So Steve, thank you, sir. Stay with me. Keep your camera on there. And Andrew, it's time to meet you, my friend. You have been patiently waiting in the green room. So turn your camera on and come on out here. And let's talk through some video strategy. How's that sound?
Oh, that sounds great. Let's do it.
All right, so do me a favor. You're the executive producer of on the Fuel in-market video team, and just so we're all on the same page, can you tell us what Fuel in-market video is and exactly what you do?
Absolutely, of course I can, Jason. So Fuel in-market video is a super amazing product. Fuel in-market video is a targeted advertising solution using Cars.com's first-party user data. And it's platform agnostic. So it follows an in-market audience no matter where they go. And it's targeted by zip code, and you're exclusive for those zip codes. So there's only one store in every zip code on Fuel. That means that you can not only but you should buy out your competition in your area by buying out their zip codes. So with Fuel, there's a couple of different ways that one can get live. There's three ways specifically. You can either provide your own creative, which is give us your ads that you want to run, and we will get those on the platform, and we will start serving those up to in-market shoppers in your zip code. Or you can choose from our creative library. So we have an ever-growing, constantly updating library of kind of pre-built existing creative that you can run. Or you can work with our team to create something brand new, original, new, based around really whatever you want. You don't see anything you like, you don't have anything you own, and you want to start from scratch, we've got team members that will jump in there and get you going and develop a video specifically for you. So as executive producer, it is my responsibility and my love to oversee and manage all of those creative operations, both developing the library, working with stakeholders all across the Cars.com organization to come up with the strategy for that creative, as well as working with specific dealer customers on their original creative and making sure everything that goes through what we call the pipeline gets built to the highest quality that we can achieve for all of our customers. And that's my 60-second spiel.
Well, you were only over by 120 seconds. Thank you, Andrew. That's really great. So listen, look, there's really two truths in today's advertising world, right? Number one, video is still the best way to get your message in front of a large audience, and two, media consumption is more fragmented than ever, so you kind of have to be everywhere. Andrew, are we on the same page there?
You know what? I think we are 100% on the same page here. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why Fuel really isn't about like platforms or specific distribution channels. It's about the audience. You know that your audience is in market for a car, so let's get them everywhere they are. It's the old adage of like, meet them where they are, not where you want them to be. So when we're kind of reaching across all these different platforms, we really think it's important to be everywhere that the audience is, but we don't have to be on every platform. But it also changes based on the audience behavior. So if they're not going to those places, we're not sending ads there. The ads are always where they are, not where, Facebook tells you they want them to be, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. And so what you're saying here, let me just distill it down for myself. So that there's two parts to Fuel IMV. First part is like what we just talked about. It's that exclusive in-market audience powered by Cars.com and the ability to distribute those video messages across platforms and devices where the audience, those specific audience members are in the moment. And yeah, if a dealer already has creative, they can use it in the platform. But the other half of Fuel is that there's a pre-built library of actual creative that can be tailored to each dealer. And that's where you and your team come in. And, you guys aren't just like producing the video, you're creating the concept, establishing the tone, the message. You're doing all this from scratch. And you're even going out. I can't believe this. You went out and like rented yourself a showroom to shoot your own dealership stock footage. I'd just love to hear in general about your philosophy on using like video creative to drive a vehicle acquisition strategy.
Right. Yes. So first, the dealership, we borrowed for a day. We've got a couple of friends that may own a dealership or two around town and let us use the store when they're not open. But specifically with vehicle acquisition, what I like to think about with every message is, all right, so you want to acquire more vehicles? Do you really want to acquire more vehicles? Then you should commit to that strategy and commit to messaging that supports that kind of everywhere. In digital video specifically, the two lengths that we work with are 15 second and 30 seconds. So 30 seconds for like OTT and your traditional 30-second advertisement, 15 seconds for a lot more social and more digital platforms. The 15 second is going to go everywhere. So in 15 seconds, you don't have a lot of time for mixed messaging. You don't have a lot of time, if you really want to acquire more vehicles, to have the vehicle acquisition message plus every single offer that you've got on the lot. So you really need to focus it down and pick your strategy and go kind of hard on that. But even when you're going with a specific message and your specific message is vehicle acquisition, there's still a lot of more subtle sort of tones that are coming through video. So video, we think about that as something that is presenting yourself through sight, sound, and what we also like to say is like motion and emotion. So you have opportunities within the video to do some really fun and interesting stuff. You can present your store as like a funny store, an earnest store. You can have a lot more of an aggressive energy to motivate people to come in if you're like a inventory turn kind of store. So your brand gets expressed there, your personality gets expressed there. And that's where my team really thrives and really has a lot of fun with the messaging as well as the specific tone of the creative, both in the library, but also when we make the original. Side note, I am 100% a firm believer that you should have fun with your advertising. Even if it's not a funny ad, you should have fun making it. And if you're not having fun making it, you should think about why that is. Maybe you need to be working with a more fun team like the ones over here at Fuel. And then you get to work with this guy. So Fuel IMV customers have access to this library. And we're always building it. We're always taking industry trends. We're talking to a lot of different dealer groups, dealer individuals. We really spend a lot of time trying to understand the challenges that are going on in the marketplace. So with that library comes complimentary with Fuel. So if you're a Fuel customer, you get access to that. And we work with the customers to shape this not only for their store once it gets built. So think of it as like a framework kind of thing. We build it for the store. So, at this point, I feel like I'm talking a lot about video, but really what I want to do is show some video. Do you think we could just show a couple of examples and then maybe we'll give people a better understanding of what we're talking about here?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it just so happens we have some clips and now I get to live out another dream of mine of being a late night talk show host. So let's set this first clip up. Andrew, what are we going to see here, sir?
Well, this clip that we have here is a classic inspired by the simple premise of show me the money. So vehicle acquisition, people just want to know, are they going to get a lot of money for their car, or are they not going to get a lot of money for their car? This ad lets people know that if you come to Inspire Auto Mall, you're going to get paid, you're going to get cash, and look how excited and happy these people are. Also, the song is one of my personal favorites of all the ads that we've done. This is just lit. This is a lit song.
All right, let's roll it. Steve and Eric, feel free to chime in. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Here we go.
Why do these happy people have so much money? Because they just got paid by Inspire Auto Mall for their car, and they didn't buy anything. That's right, Inspire Auto Mall will buy your car even if you don't buy from them. Inspire Auto Mall wants to give you money for whatever you own. Any make, any model, Inspire Auto Mall will make you an offer. So what are you waiting for? The faster you bring your car to Inspire Auto Mall, the faster you get paid. But don't be surprised if you find something new you like while you are here.
What do you think, guys? I was reaching for my wallet, and then I realized I don't have cash. I just have credit cards. So I was going to start flinging credit cards around all over the place.
I would have started flinging, but I realized I had like a total of $3 in my wallet, and that would have been embarrassing for everybody because I thought I had $5 until this morning. Somewhere in the house is $2 that I'm missing.
So definitely an attention getter, right?
Yes.
Between the music track, kind of the bonkers footage, everyone throwing money around, our older couple here. I mean, lots of good stuff. We've got some more. I know that. So let's queue up the next one here. Andrew, set it up while I work on getting this thing to play.
Right on. It's nice to be on the other side of trying to play videos across the internet for people. So this next one that we have, this is, when we're talking about like tone for dealers and the opportunities within that vehicle acquisition being the message, but a lot of different ways to present that. This next one is what I think of as more of like a gentler tone. So something that we really try and do with the Creative Library broadly is think about what dealers are often trying to overcome from potential customers. There is an unfair and untrue sort of feeling about dealerships that the experience is going to be aggressive or it's going to be like unpleasant. And dealers really need to work hard often to overcome that stereotype. And so we always make sure we have messaging within the library that can assist our dealers with that. So this piece is something we think of as a gentler tone that's going to really kind of convey to people that the experience at the dealership is going to be pleasant, kind, and easy, while also still kind of bringing forward a vehicle acquisition message.
A good car should last a long time, but even with proper care and maintenance, it might be time to trade it in. But would anyone give you a fair price? Inspire Ford will. When you trade in your current car, Inspire Ford will give you a quote above the Kelley Blue Book price. So you don't have to waste time trying to sell it on your own or waste money trying to keep it running. We think that's better than fair. That's a great deal. So save time and money when you bring your current car to Inspire Ford and get a great price for a trade-in.
I like that. That was really earnest.
Relaxing.
Yes.
Very gentle.
You see the breeze coming. I feel relaxed.
You just feel sunshine coming across your face. You got them good feelings. Like, yeah, it's time to time to trade this in.
We've got one last one here. Tell us, everybody, about what set this one up for us, Andrew.
Sure. So this is, this is something that we've been doing for a lot of advertising lately. We call this is part of what we call the Did You Know series. And what's going on here is that we feel as though there's opportunity for dealers to really present themselves as not just a showroom, not just like a turn and churn kind of place, but really bring people in who are looking for expertise in the auto industry. And automobile is a huge investment, and you really do want somebody who knows what they're talking about to guide you through it. And so we started building some advertising that is kind of taking the stylings and designs of other like infotainment or informative documentary series like Vox Explained, or even like Last Week Tonight, or just like dozens and dozens and dozens of YouTube videos, maybe even thousands of YouTube videos actually is more accurate. So we borrow a lot of that visual language to help position dealers as that expert in their industry. And this one just comes about like basically straightforward and gives you an explanation as to why today is the day to sell your car and why it's worth more today. So why don't we go ahead and roll it?
Did you know the microchips in video games and computers are also in new cars? And that COVID-19, increased demand, and international shipping delays have created a global chip shortage affecting the manufacturing of new cars. Did you know? This has made your car more valuable, and Anytown Toyota will pay top dollar for pre-owned vehicles, even if you don't buy from us. Well, now you know. The best time to sell is now. Turn the global chip shortage into your gain with Anytown Toyota.
That was awesome. I like how you really mashed up like the, you had your animated footage, motion graphics, and then you had that. Those were the actors that you were working with from that photo a few slides ago, right?
Correct.
They all mashed up together.
Yes. One of the great things about now that we're going out into a shooting situation, which COVID-19 did prevent us from doing that for a while, is that we're probably one of the few advertising providers for the auto industry that can tell the story from online all the way through the store and back home again. That's one of our goals with the footage that we shoot for our library, is being able to tell that consumer experience all the way through and back again. I don't know anybody else who can do that. I know the stock footage that they use, and we've used it in the past too, and we're trying to go above and beyond that.
Well, I mean, dude, this is all super good creative. And look, I've always been in the mindset that, hey, for your message, it really needs to be memorable and sticky with the attended audience. It has to make the viewer feel some kind of emotion. And like Andrew, I always skew more towards the funny side of the spectrum. But those earnest messages or those, educational messages can elicit emotional reactions too, right, Andrew?
Absolutely, absolutely. You just got to make your viewer feel something, not just know something. And that's going to make that like targeted impression count for so much more.
Yeah. And, I know we spent a lot of time talking about the creative because I wanted to highlight that. And it's so cool. But this is the story right here. This is working for vehicle acquisition. Manly Honda was one of the early adopters of Fuel in market video. And as you can see here from some charts, now I'm going like full professor mode here. If you look at the chart on the bottom, no, that is the average used vehicle availability within their DMA. And as you can see, since last summer, it's been on a decline. And at the same time, when they started running vehicle acquisition messaging through Fuel IMV, you have seen their total amount of VINs go up compared to the DMA. They're actually leading their market. And it's just a huge success story because, like Andrew said, they didn't just be like, yeah, I guess we kind of want to mix in some vehicle acquisition campaigns. They're like, no, we're going all in on this. And they made it work. And while reaching people across like social and video streaming platforms, that is huge. Let's not forget our older mediums as well. And Andrew, since you're here and I love listening to you talk, I'm going to have you talk about things that aren't video. Are you cool with that?
I can and have in the past spoken about things that are not video. So I am
not a one-trick pony, ladies and gentlemen.
I have other interests, yes.
Such as?
Well, email. I love email. I'm big into email. No, but all the traditional kind of ways to reach your audience still apply. Video is super, super effective, but it is not exclusive. And so email jumps out at me as a big one because even though it might feel old, it might feel traditional, it might feel the same old, it's effective if you use it right. So we're encouraging dealers to move away from sort of like spray and pray blast kind of strategies. Start thinking about a more refined email marketing campaign, something that targets your segments of your database so you can deliver the most relevant message to them that's likely to generate trade in engagement. So you just basically email people that bought a car from you and tell them maybe it's time to trade in that car.
Right.
That's a really effective way to use email. There's hundreds and dozens of others, but that's just one example.
Yeah. And essentially, like instead of like sending that one email to all your customers, which a lot of dealers do because you can, and sometimes it's easier. What we're talking about here is just, breaking that down, segmenting your audience based on, certain factors like how long they owned it for, and then tailoring a message specific to each of those groups. And we've actually created these email templates that you can use and customize at your dealership. So again, if you're a DI client and you want to get your hands on some email templates that you can use for this very reason, again, raise your hand in the chat and we will hook you up with the link via DM to get those templates. And we are really long on time now, so we got to pick it up here. And that's mostly me. I need to stick to the bullet points here. So we've been talking about digital advertising during our session today. But there's a couple cool ways to make traditional advertising talk, Andrew. What do we got going on here?
Oh, absolutely. Look, so there's there's tons and tons of different ways to make traditional broadcast cable advertising make a lot of sense for you, as well as print and outdoor advertising. That's still pretty common as well. And as a creative, I really don't think that there's no bad marketing medium. There's just a bad use of that medium. So when it comes to vehicle acquisition, it makes a lot of sense to get that message out on TV through a commercial or even a direct mail piece, but take it up a notch. Make that traditional advertising be a direct gateway to having a conversation with your team. So for instance, you're a dealership and by now you probably have an SMS text number that people can use. Include that number in your traditional advertising that allows the person seeing the ad to send you a text and immediately start talking about their trade-in. This is taking traditional advertising to drive action and what we call second screen usage, and it drives it immediately. You're watching TV, you got the phone out, you see the number, start texting right away. That's great engagement. So something else that I think about a lot too is QR codes, and you can make the whole experience more like point and scan by using them. So you can use them in your print ads, your billboards, or even on the cars on your lot for the after-hour tire kickers. So this will drop people directly in a chat-based trade-in experience, and then everyone should scan the QR code that's on the screen right now and just see what happens.
Yeah, and let me say this while we give folks a quick second to scan that QR code. While the pandemic totally sucked, I do love the fact that QR codes finally got the mass adoption here in the US that it deserved. I mean, I was an early champion of QR codes going back a decade ago at the dealership. It was probably a little too ahead of its time there for lots of different reasons. But today, they're everywhere. You can't go somewhere without seeing QR codes. They're really useful and pretty much frictionless, which is awesome. And so I hope everyone right now who's just scanned that QR code is seeing exactly what we're talking about, how you can take something that's physical and printed and get somebody into a trading conversation right from their phone. Andrew, my man, thank you so much for taking the time out of your crazy production schedule to join us here today. I think that was just a great way to cap off how we acquire cars across all the channels. And for our last section of today's course here, I know the bell is going to ring pretty soon if it hasn't already. We're going to talk about best practices for following up with your trade-in leads. This is pretty short, so if you have the time and you can stick with us and go a little bit past the bell, that'd be awesome. And if you have to jump, just know that you will get a link to this recording to watch on demand in your email. So you can always come back and revisit this section too. Okay. So before we start off with how to follow up with your trade-in leads, let's talk about how you can follow up with your customers who successfully trade in or sell their vehicle with you at your dealership. Now, we know people rely on reviews for pretty much everything today. So our recommendation is to send a text or an email to your recent customers and ask them to leave you a review specifically about the experience of selling or trading in their vehicle at your dealership. So this is a highly valuable user-created content. It's going to go a long way in supporting that vehicle acquisition messaging in your market and on your website, providing that critical proof that the experience you promise in all of your marketing is the actual experience that you deliver once you guys connect face-to-face. And then once you accumulate some of these trade-in specific reviews, then you can start to incorporate them into your messaging, right, Eric?
Yeah, it's just another asset that you have at your disposal. So lots of things you can do with it. You can embed those reviews right on your trading landing page that we talked about. You can send a link to them in your text or your email follow-ups. You could even pull a quote from one of the really good reviews and use it to create a homepage slider, put it in your display, your social ads, so on and so forth. So bottom line is once people start sharing those stories about trading in or selling at your dealership, you just want to incorporate those words into all your marketing.
That's right. Use them and use them liberally. So yeah, go out there, get those trade-in reviews. Now let's shift our attention to your follow-up with trade-in leads. And look, I used to handle these myself back in the day. So I know a lot of times shoppers are using that vehicle evaluation system on your website, just to get an idea of what their current vehicle is worth. That makes a lot of sense because it's a big part of their purchase. But if you want to turn more of those leads into successful acquisitions, you got to have a better follow-up plan. As always, we recommend you text first if possible, and then back that up with email. But in general, regardless of how you're doing it, open with a question, show excitement for their vehicle, work at a classic manager name drop. That's always a good thing. Tease that the vehicle estimation that they got on your website, it could be worth more once you see it in person. Build that sense of urgency. Talk about how you make it easy. And if you're doing any kind of offsite appraisals, definitely want to make sure you mention that too. But as far as like tech specific tips go, Eric, you got any of your own there?
Yeah, I mean, for starters, it's just the way that people prefer to communicate. 80% of consumers say they'd rather text with the business than call or email. So if you haven't already, just adopt that text first mentality to your follow-up, and it gets great engagement. Me personally, like, I wouldn't want to say on a company webinar how many unread emails I have on average, but I'll tell you, I have like 0 unread texts, right? So in terms of how to open that conversation, they just got a value for their vehicle. So ask them what they thought about that valuation to start. And the goal is to build that sense of urgency so you can set up the appointment for an in-person appraisal. And it can be done with just a few text messages.
I'm almost afraid to ask and throw you under the bus, Eric. Is that number of unread emails, is that a 2-digit number or a 3-digit number?
Like I said, we weren't going to talk about that today. I'm getting it down, Jason.
Tell me off air. So if you're watching this and you have conversations, you have the ability to engage your customers via text right from the conversations dashboard. So that's an easy entry point right there. And the best part about text is that it's all there in a thread, right? So if your lead doesn't respond to your first question, just hit them up the next day and try to spur some engagement again. Of course, this is all assuming your customer didn't opt out of receiving text messages. I know our friends in legal always appreciate it when I remind folks to always follow applicable text messaging rules and regulations with your outbound communications. You're welcome, legal friends. So if texting isn't an option and people aren't answering their phones, we do have to rely on email to create that engagement, don't we, Eric?
Yeah, I like your disclaimer voice, by the way. But email's just the same ideas with text message. Build urgency, ask a question, keep the conversation moving down the path to acquisition. The overall goal is to have a specific follow-up cadence that you use just for trade-ins. Just don't dump them into the standard follow-up sequence in the CRM. Create something new to drive that engagement. And if you're not doing this currently, we have example templates, again, we'd be willing to share, that you can customize and use at your dealership. Same as before, just raise your hand in the chat. We'll hook you up and send you the link.
Get you hooked up. Well, thank you for jumping back in there, Eric. And ladies and gentlemen, class is just about over, but you're not dismissed yet because you've got homework. Okay, not really, but I mean, you can. So I know we have a bunch of people here today that join us each and every month for our webinars, and you have my eternal gratitude for that. But if this is just your first or second time coming to class, then I did want to mention that we have 11 of our previously recorded webinars available to stream on demand over at dealerinspire.com. Just go to our website and you'll see the webinar menu and the main nav. We cover everything there from website design mistakes to core web vitals, to fixed ops marketing, modern retailing. It is all there. So be sure to check it out. And man, we were cruising today. We went about 5 minutes over or so. But I appreciate everyone who stuck around here to the very end. And this is how we do things at Dealer Inspire, right? Our ultimate goal is to make this content not just relevant to you, but make it totally actionable as well. So hopefully feel like you've gotten a ton of tips, tricks, and strategies that you can begin to implement today. And I hope you're taking notes and grabbing some screenshots. And if you have any questions, if you're already a DI client, just reach out to your performance manager. Or if we haven't had a chance to connect with, our contact information is right here on the screen. Eric, Andrew, Steve, fellas, thank you so much for joining me here today. Did you guys have fun?
Great time.
Best class you ever had?
Pass. Yeah, happy to be here.
Speaking, there's another fishing for compliments. No, you guys all did awesome. And believe me, I would wheel you back. I'm going to have you all back again at some other time because I love talking to you all so much. So on behalf of the entire team here at Dealer Inspire, I want to thank you guys for joining us here today. Good luck out there with the vehicle acquisition. Keep talking to those fish, and don't forget, we are always here to help. So please don't hesitate to drop us a line anytime. And we'll see you guys next month on the next Dealer Inspire webinar. See y'all.